Imagine being worth over $500 million. You don't live in the Bronx or in Brooklyn or even Queens. You live in a mansion in Staten Island with chandeliers, manicured gardens, a personal chef, and a house staff. You wear loafers instead of tracksuits. You read the Wall Street Journal, not the Daily News. You tell your soldiers to act like businessmen, not goons. You are Paul Castellano, the most powerful mob boss in America in 1985, and in just one moment, you're gunned down outside a steakhouse in front of the whole world. This is the story of the billionaire boss who got whacked in the middle of Manhattan rush hour, and how that one decision ripped the mafia apart forever. Smash that like button and subscribe if you're into real stories, not just TV shows. Drop a comment. Should Paul Castellano have been boss, or was John Gotti right to take him out? Let's get into it. Paul Castellano was born into Cosa Nostra. Not as a boss, not even a made guy. Just a kid from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, the heart of Italian-American New York. His cousin, Carlo Gambino. That's the connection that changed everything. Unlike most guys who came up through the ranks cracking skulls and running stick-ups, Paul had a head for business. He was smart, quiet, calculated. He studied people. He didn't need muscle. He had influence. By the 1950s, Castellano was running legitimate companies, meat distribution, construction, trucking. But don't get it twisted, those businesses weren't clean. They were fronts for rackets, loan sharking, union extortion, and massive no-show job scams. And because he wasn't flashy, because he stayed behind the scenes, Castellano rose fast. When Carlo Gambino, the man who reshaped the mafia, was ready to step down, he didn't hand it off to a street guy. Not to his top capo, not even to someone known for earning in the trenches. He gave the Gambino family, the most powerful family in America, to his cousin Paul Castellano. When Carlo Gambino died in 1976, everyone expected his longtime underboss, Agnello Neil Dellacroce, to take over. Dellacroce was respected, a killer, old school. He came up the hard way. He had loyalty from the street crews, especially the heavy hitters like John Gotti, Angelo Ruggiero, Sammy Gravano, and the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club guys in Queens. But instead, Carlo handed the keys to Big Paul, his cousin, the businessman. Why? Because Castellano represented the future. He didn't want the Gambino family to be known for street-level killings. He wanted power in unions, construction, white-collar rackets, the kind that brought in money without bringing in headlines. And at first it worked. Castellano doubled the Gambino family's income. He brought in legit operations like Dial Poultry, a company that sold millions in meat to supermarkets across the East Coast. He invested in home construction companies, no-show jobs, and mob-controlled industries that padded the family's revenue like never before. But here's the thing. Paul didn't respect the street guys. He called them peasants. He hated how they dressed. He banned drugs, not because he was moral, but because it brought heat. He held meetings at his Staten Island mansion, the White House, not in smoky clubs or corner diners. He had a personal chef named Joe, who cooked gourmet Italian meals for visiting capos. Meanwhile, Gotti and the street crews were eating greasy pizza in the back of clubhouses and risking their lives every day. To them, Castellano was disconnected. Worse, he was soft. Let's start with the bug. Paul's ego became his weakness. He had his mansion wired, not for security, but to eavesdrop on his own people. But what he didn't know was that the FBI had bugged him too. And not just any room, they bugged his dining room, the very place where capos came to break bread, give tribute, and talk shop. For months, agents sat in vans outside, recording conversations where Castellano discussed payoffs, shakedowns, labor rackets, and internal beefs. All of it. It was damning. And when those tapes started leaking in federal court, the myth of the clean boss collapsed. He wasn't untouchable anymore. He wasn't above the street. He was now a liability. Meanwhile, Gotti was running things his way in Queens. He was everything Castellano wasn't. Flashy, fear, worshipped by his guys, and making millions a month off heroin, which Castellano strictly forbade. When Gotti's crew got caught talking about drug deals on a wiretap, and Castellano found out, he made a fatal decision. When this trial is over, I'm going to demote Gotti, maybe even shelve him. In mafia terms, shelving someone is like cutting off their oxygen. They're not dead, but they're as good as gone. But Gotti heard about the plan, and he wasn't going to wait around for his own funeral. He started assembling a team. Guys who hated Castellano. Guys who thought the street should take the family back. Guys who were ready to do the unthinkable. December 16th, 1985. Manhattan, 46th Street, Sparks Steakhouse. Paul Castellano arrives for a meeting. He steps out of a black Lincoln with his driver and underboss Tommy Bellotti. They don't even make it to the front steps. Suddenly, 4 men in trench coats move in. No words, no warning, bullets fly. 10 shots hit Castellano. Bellotti goes down next to him. Blood pools on the sidewalk. It's 5:26 p.m. New York City rush hour. The boss of the Gambino family was assassinated in broad daylight, on a busy midtown street, in full view of civilians, commuters, and law enforcement. It was the boldest hit since the days of Lucky Luciano, and it worked. Within days, John Gotti became boss. He took over the most powerful crime family in America. He ran it with swagger, headlines, and courtroom battles, but that's another story he'll tell in a different episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be reminded. Let me ask you, was Castellano a visionary who got outplayed, or a boss who forgot where he came from? Drop a comment. Should a mafia boss be feared or respected? Hit like if you love the real stories behind mafia power plays. Subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Until then, stay sharp, stay quiet, and if you ever meet someone in front of Sparks Steakhouse, maybe don't shake their hand too quick.